Good evening, everyone. I'm A.K. Prabhakar. I head the research in IDBI Capital. We have already done our analysis of budget 2022 for our client, our internal people. This is for people who have come through other media. So, most of the people are not our clients, but it is okay. Now, we always entertain people so that they get benefited from our educative videos. So, budget. About few days back, we had the budget, and there are a lot of key takeaways from the budget. Now, we will have a small presentation followed by Q&A. Very important about the budget is the roadmap the finance minister is having. Now, previously, budget used to be voluminous document where it was like an event. Today, what is happening is they are reducing it to a revenue expenditure mechanism. So they have merged many things, and most of the announcement comes off the budget. And with GST, the number of taxes have come down. It has also been simplified. And today also, the revenue secretary has said, the capital gains tax, the long-term capital gains tax and other things. Now it is too complicated. It has to be simplified. So the mindset or the process is to simplify tax procedures so that compliance is easy. Why they want to do this is litigation of tax cases is very high, and the amount which is stuck in litigation is unimaginable. Even if we get 20% of that, I think our budget deficit will come down. So that is a kind of litigation. So if we have simplified tax structure, then litigation will be low and compliance will be very high. And that is where we are moving towards it. So when we see the budget document, it is towards that. So the budget has maintained status quo on items of immediate interest to investors and traders. No change in capital gains. Tax, STT, dividend tax, there is no major reforms also. Personal tax remains the same. Exemption, everything remains the same. So nothing, no tinkering in tax structure except for one tax, where they've reduced the surcharge which was 37% to they had a cap of 15%. That is for people who pay very high taxes. And because there is no major tax changes in taxation, cigarette as a sector has not been impacted. Otherwise, every budget we had tax on the cigarettes, and cigarette prices used to go up. But now government feels that due to regular increase in cigarettes, the imported cigarettes or smuggled cigarettes are cheaper than Indian tax cigarettes. So they have said their thought process is now it has to be Indian government has to collect tax, but somebody should not benefit. So they have not raised tax. So ITC is a major beneficiary of that. And this budget is not about near term, that is 1-2 years. It is about a long term. So it is more of making India a manufacturing hub. Now, very important data is China dominates almost 28% of the global manufacturing. It is called a manufacturing powerhouse of the world. Whereas when it comes to services, India dominates by 55%. So when it is services, it is India. When it is manufacturing, it is 28% belongs to China. India is just 3% of what capacity China has built. It is only 3%. So we are hardly 10%, slightly more than 10%. But we need to improve that, because that improves our job employment. It creates a lot of job opportunities. So that is where the government has focused. So the focus towards that, we need to improve our infrastructures, your port, your railways, your logistics, your storages, everything has to be improved. Your airports, your connectivity, so everything has to be improved. And China plus plus one policy which has arisen due to COVID. Now India wants to utilize it. So in that, the budget has focused on 5 to 6 year term plan, where it is more of a manufacturing budget where infrastructure will be the focus. But there are few sectors where government has been already focusing, and emphasis on this budget has been slightly higher. It is electric vehicle, EV infrastructure, EV ecosystem, telecom. They have said 5G auctions will happen towards the end of the year. Data centers is one more thing which is very important in government's agenda. So I think real estate will be one sector which will be benefiting. And even if data centers are improved, it will create more employment, no infrastructure around it. Solar equipment is one more area where government feels we need to do more. So the PLI scheme, which was only 4,500 before, has been enhanced by 19,500. Now the total enhancement is 24,000 crores. So in that listed space, we have Tata Power and SW Solar, which will benefit out of it. When it comes to defense, in the last 5-6 years, whatever the government has done, the benefit has started to flow. So what has government done? So in 2015 and 16, government said we will start making defense equipment in India. So they started to create a lot of infrastructure. They allowed defense company to have tie-up with foreign countries, foreign companies, so that they can manufacture in India. So last year, that is FY 22, which is going to complete in just 2 months. Now they said 58% of whatever we are going to procure, it should be made in India. But data from newspaper which I collected, it says almost we are near 64%. So now it is not only local procurement which has become higher. Now India has become an export. We are exporting to friendly neighboring countries. BrahMos missile is being exported. BEL is exporting to US. So we have become a manufacturing hub in defense. Now we are now manufacturing our own naval ships, submarines. Many things. It has been delivered. In the last 2 years, L&T has delivered the naval ships. Musgon Dog, about 5 submarines they have done. So we have started to become a manufacturing hub of defense, and due to which now our import, which was almost 14% of the total global imports, has come to 9.5%. So these are physical deficit numbers, where the government has been very conservative in the last 2 years due to COVID. So their physical deficit, which is estimated is 6.9. For next year, it is going to be 6.4. But revenues, if you take, government has put it very conservatively. So we will have a positive surprise, and this is what we and the street also is thinking. And what they have done, even the disinvestment target, which was slightly on a higher side, has been now moderated. Now it is 66,000 crores for FY 22 estimated, and for FY 23 estimated it is 65,000 crores. And if LIC and BPCL goes through, I think both the target can be achieved. And very important, we are having about 5 state election, where everybody thought process was there will be a lot of freebies, subsidies will be increased. That has not happened. Food and fertilizer subsidy is down 27%. Manrega, which was hiked due to COVID, it has also been brought down by 26%. So the government focus is more on infrastructure building and employment generation, rather than giving downloads to people. So which when you build infrastructure, automatically economy will boost up. So that is the thought process it has gone. There is no freebies in this budget. So the few key takeaways: borrowing will increase by 32%, that is 15 lakh crore, and due to which we saw bond yields going up, and then government postponed the bond coming out with their government securities. So no, they are balancing it, but I don't think this kind of borrowing is needed because tax collection is improved, and due to high vaccination, now for third wave of COVID, we didn't have the kind of lockdown we had in the first and second wave. Now life has become normal, and we also now living with COVID. So I think that is something very good. COVID is now behind us, and the vaccination has helped us to mitigate the risk due to COVID. And very important is in this budget, these are the figures. Capital expenditure is about 19% of the total budget. It stands at 7,50,000. So 19% is the highest in last 15 years. So previous highest was in 2008, where it was 17%. Otherwise, we were averaging around 12%. Again, capital expenditure has become 19% now, which shows the focus of the government after a very, very long time. So when it comes, the focus area has been EV. In EV, battery swapping policy is something which they want to introduce, and they feel in metro cities, charging, having a charging station will be very difficult. So they are going to come with a scheme how to do it, in a better way, for which the size of batteries of two-wheeler and three-wheeler and four-wheeler will be separate, and everyone will have a similar size so that it is easy to change the batteries. And normal thought process is everybody thinks when it comes to batteries, Exide and Amar Raja will benefit. It is not so. Amar Raja will not benefit because they don't have the tie-up which they had before. Before they had a tie-up with Johnson Control, which is no more a partner of Amar Raja battery. So they don't have the technology. Whereas Exide is looking for partners, and if they get the partner, they will be in that. But Bosch is one company which has already have a tie-up, and this is one company which will benefit from the EV changeover of EV, and it is a German company which is very fast to move to the new technology. And Sona Comstar is one company that we have been positive for a very long time, and this benefits from the EV vehicle. And if you see the order book, recently result came, the order book is more than 16,000 crores, whereas the top line, the full year, they will not cross even 2,000 crores. That means they have a visibility for next 8 years, but when they are growing at 40%, they will complete in 5 years also. But they are bringing in a lot of new products, which is going to be game changer for them. So this is one stock for somebody who is looking at 5 years. Now Sona BLW is going to be doubler or tripler from current levels. So one can slowly start accumulating this stock. So the reduction of Manrega, it has impacted two-wheeler. But there is a rural stress, and in the last few years, if you notice, two-wheeler as a segment has not done well. No, it is not only Hero or Bajaj, even Honda, which was now jumping very high, they have not done well. And what has happened is Bajaj, due to their export, and TVS, due to their export, they have done better than Hero and Honda. So I think, export is the opportunity, but locally, due to higher taxes, GST at 28% for two-wheeler, and the insurance cost, it has increased the cost to a great extent. So two-wheeler as a market has now, slowly, it is not in favor. So we need to be careful. But valuation in two-wheeler stocks are attractive at current level. Mahindra, it already has a EV portfolio, and they are doing a lot of changes. That is something we are positive on Mahindra for 1 to 2 year perspective also. So there are many schemes which government has extended. One is EC LGS scheme, where they have added another 50,000 crores. So the total amount will be 5 lakh crore, and it will be extended till March 2023. And PSU banks are the normal beneficiary of this. And with credit growth, at 11%, we feel the growth is likely to scale up, because government will be spending almost 7,50,000 crores on infra building. So that means many people have to take loan, and they also should participate there. So in that, when it comes to corporate lending, PSU banks are very active, and there are few other reasons we are positive on PSU banks. Government has been providing recapitalization, which for FY22 they have reduced from 20,000 to 15,000 crores. So, and for this financial year, FY23, where we have budgeted, there is no provision. That means PSU banks are strong on their own, and the quarter 3 results also point out that these banks will now be profitable. So the worst cycle is behind us, and the best is yet to come. So we feel PSU, which has not performed, PSU banks which have underperformed the market from 2010, a new lease of life will come. So in that, State Bank of India, Canara Bank are two standout, where their credit growth has been spectacular compared to other banks. So these two will be an outperformer within the PSU pack, but we like the PSU pack overall. And government has said now on digital, there will be 75 digital banking unit in 75 districts, and we will have digital rupee using blockchain, and that will come in FY23. So these are few game-changing things, and India has been gradually moving towards digital transaction. Our UPI has been a wonder kid in digital, and we have done far better than the developed economy. China is far ahead to us when it comes to digital transaction, because in China there is no physical currency which get transacted. It is hardly 2%. But in India, physical currency is still there, but UPI and your other mode of transaction is also very high today. So people transact using digital mode of transaction, which is reducing cost as well as it is improving efficiency, and the transactions are accounted for. There are many social initiatives which government has taken, which are likely to benefit. So there are about 150,000 post offices which will be connected to other financial systems also. So if you till now, whatever money you have in post office, you can withdraw or you can put. You cannot transfer to some other bank, or you cannot transfer to somebody else. Now that is possible. They want to interlink it. This 1.5 lakh post office across India, they have about 12.5 lakh crores of deposit. So when that interoperability comes, that is going to benefit, and there are many beneficiary out of it. Now, what will happen is people will pitch for mutual fund scheme, insurance scheme. So banks like HDFC Bank, SBI Life, ICICI Bank, they will benefit from this move, and that means last mile person also will be in our banking system. Instead of having to only withdraw or deposit money, he can do a lot of transaction, and he can do a lot of other things also, which is a very step forward from Jan Dhan account, which we started long back. Now we are moving to the next level in that. And for education, due to COVID, many students have not attended school. So for educational purpose, which is very important for India to grow, they have introduced about 200 TV channels where education skill reskilling also will be done, and it will be in their spoken languages, which is very important. So now government has done few changes in the NPS scheme, where central government employees, in their total income, 14% was exempted from tax, and they were allowed to 14% of their monthly income, they can put it in NPS. But state government, it was capped at 10%. Now that will become 14%. So it brings a major portion of all state government employees into NPS scheme. And now the manager for NPS scheme for state government and central government has been UTI AMC. That will be one beneficiary. But NPS as a segment has been growing, and in that HDFC Pension has achieved market share when it comes to private pension manager. So they have about 37% market share in that, and they have crossed a milestone of 25,000 crore. So I think these two will be the beneficiary as more NPS, National Pension Scheme, gets into the way. So cryptocurrency, today more than the demat account or number of taxpayers, cryptocurrency holders are more in India. So total demat account is 7.72 crores, whereas cryptocurrency asset holders about few weeks back was 10.7 crores. And it is growing faster than demat accounts, and even we are income tax payer. Income tax total players in India are just 6 crores, but cryptocurrency holders are very high. So government thought they will start taxing it, and it will be effective in next few months. It will be at 30%, and there is no set off, there is no deduction, and there will be a 1% TDS if you are trading in virtual digital asset. And I think there are a lot of feedback which has gone to the government, and the rules are slightly changed also. So it will be all inclusive is what the indication coming from the finance ministry. In capital expenditure, 7,50,000 crores. There are few things which is very important. So one thing is Awas Yojana, where the allocation is 48,000 crores, which will benefit companies in like Kajaria Ceramic, Supreme Industries, even cement companies like Ultratech. Har Ghar Jal scheme, where the allocation is 60,000 crores, and almost 3.8 crore household will get the pipeline, water pipeline. So that will benefit pipe players like Astral Poly, Finolex Industries. Even Prince will be a beneficiary of that. So due to higher this thing, now I think there are a lot of beneficiaries which will happen, but it will take its own time. Market will not, till the revenue doesn't go up for this company, market will not discount that. And when it comes to highways, government has said they will build 25,000 kilometer national highway. That is translating into 68 kilometers per day. Previously, it was 36.5 kilometer, which itself now is almost 3 times what we were doing in 2012. So that is a huge infrastructure focus. But the provision is only 2 lakh crore for national highway. So, but 1 lakh crore has been given to the state government, where there will be no interest for their infrastructure spend. So I think because the roads cannot be built very fast. No, it is a process. I think 25,000 kilometers in 1.5 years is possible, but that also is a very good time frame. And in the infrastructure, the beneficiary will be KNR Construction, PNC Infra, L&T will be there in all infrastructure, whatever we are going to talk from here on. There are 7 engines in our national infrastructure pipelines. So, there is, for integrating all these things, PM Gadi Shakti scheme is one thing where, there is a master plan, and all this thing will be integrated so that the infrastructure and the turnaround time reduces. Now, what is the advantage for China is their turnaround time. Now, the loading, unloading in the shape that the speed of reaching the 1,000 kilometers, everything is fast in China compared to India. The goods train in China, they travel almost at 80-90 kilometers per hour. In India, it is 30 kilometers per hour. We need to improve it by three times, for which we need to electrify, we need to have dedicated freight corridor, and we need to have dedicated lines for goods train. Now we have passenger trains, which occupy the main thing, but India needs to focus on having a goods train, or where the speed can be increased from 30 kilometers to 60-70 kilometers, which will reduce cost and increase efficiency. So all these things will be done by Gati Shakti scheme, where a master plan is still on the process, and they are saying 400 new generation Vande Mataram trains also will be introduced. Now, most of the railway lines have been electrified, which is increasing efficiency and which has increased speed also. And doubling of the railways are also going side by side. And we have the scheme to connect Delhi and Mumbai, dedicated corridor, DFS they call it, and DFC, and we have Delhi and Kolkata again dedicated freight corridor, so which will increase the speed as well as the transportation of goods, and and this will connect landlocked portion of India to the ports also. So in many of these schemes, Siemens, ABB, L&T will be the major beneficiary with all these things happening together. Now, as I said, in defense, the capital expenditure portion is 1,52,000 crores. The budget now is huge. It is almost 5,25,000 crores. But for expenditure, capex, it is only 1,52,000 crores, which is higher by 13%. So in that, there are few beneficiaries. Mazagon Dock, which makes submarines, and they say there are a lot of other orders to come. L&T, which manufactures naval ships, they delivered already 5 ships from Kattupakkam, Chennai. So BEL, which has become an exporter, and when it comes to ISRO or when it comes to surveillance, BEL plays a major role. Automated guns, Bharat Forge is a major player. When it comes to aircraft, your helicopter and other many aircraft for defense, the Air Force, Hindustan Aeronautics, has played a vital role. And very important, recently we had Dubai Air Show thing, where about 5 countries have shown interest in the HAL's aircraft. So this is something we are changing from being a net importer. Very slowly, our exports are improving, and over a period of time, I think our imports will be less than 10-15% of our total allocation. So if that happens, the productivity and the way we can maintain our defense establishment is going to be a game changer. Solar PLI scheme, already I have discussed in the start itself. This is a focus area, and this will help us to go green, reduce the carbon footprint in a great way. Tata Power and SW Solar are 2 companies which will benefit majorly in this. SW Solar is now almost owned by Reliance. So no, it is not a profit-making company, but very soon the turnaround might happen. Railways, this is where the major portion of our budget increment has come. So 2,50,000 crores has been allocated to railways for capital expenditure, which is 14% increase. So when it comes to railways, there are many companies which will benefit. It includes Siemens, KC, Alstom, BEML, ITD Cementation, and L&T. So these are a few things, what they will be doing. Now, construction of new lines from meter gauge to broad gauge, doubling of line, So the diesel locomotive, they are not doing it. It is only electric locomotive, and even for coaches, there is an increase in 13%. So there are a lot of things which are happening there. And what has happened is in November 2021, government has said that we will not give railway contracts on nomination. So even PSU companies have to fight it out with the private players, and we need to improve the efficiency of the total players. So ITT Cementation has got few contract, L&T, many private player like KEC have got contract. Even Escort is there in railways. So these are few beneficiary of the railway allocations. In specialty chemical, post-COVID, many of our companies have started to benefit because of logistic bottleneck which is caused by China. So this China plus one policy and the way China behave, what has happened is all of a sudden our chemical companies saw a boost. So many companies have given multi-bagger return in the last 2.5 years. Now it is because these chemical companies were not up to their optimum level. All of a sudden, it has been a game changer because many foreign countries are now taking chemicals from us. And what has happened is many companies have backward integrated and they have started an expansion. Now, yesterday, about 3-4 companies came with results. Now, Clean Science, Ami Organic, Valiant, where everybody is in an expansion mode for next 2 years. SRF you take, they are also expanding. Venethi Organic. So every Aarti Industries, everybody is backward integrating, forward integrating, and they are trying to specialize in their chemical. And most of the company, Clean Science, if you go through the nitty-gritty, they say it will be an import substitute, and nobody in India is manufacturing that portion of that chemical. So that means they are trying to get a better price, and the profit of the margins are very high. Clean Science margin is 40%, but it is a very small company. But if they can start growing at 40% CAGR in the next 5-10 years, then it is going to be a multi-bagger. And in government also lowered few taxes there so that raw material prices will come down. One is acetic acid, where Lakshmi Organic and Jubilant Ingrevia will be a beneficiary. And the other thing is in methyl alcohol from 5% to 2.5, where Atul, Balaji Amines and Clean Science will be a beneficiary. So, chemical as an industry, they have done very good, but in the last 6-7 months, they are not performing. It is because of the expansion drive which they are doing. So it will take another 1.5 years for these companies to get back to the track on the profitability side. These are a few companies where small companies which will benefit from the relief given to steel scrap. But these are not companies which we track normally on a day-to-day basis. But these are few budget beneficiaries: Sharda Energy, Prakash Industries, and Godavari Power and Waste Park. IT has been the focus area for this government. More of digitalization we have done locally also. So, and if you see the kind of results these companies are posting and the kind of demand visibility for next 3-4 to 5 years, I think IT as a sector, any major correction is a good opportunity. At current level, the valuations are very expensive. But if they correct another 10-15%, it would be a very good opportunity for a long-term investor. So we like few stocks like Infosys, Zensar, LTI, where SIP can be a better model, because when valuation is very expensive, and we buy, all of a sudden due to some bad news, the stock or sector is correct 10-15%. So we need to be mindful of that. But otherwise, I think IT as a sector has a very big potential, and government focuses on IT, and data center is something which is going to benefit this segment also. So government has reduced the minimum tax rate on cooperatives. Previously it was 18.5, it has become 15. So it will slightly boost the rural income and farming communities also. But I don't know whether many cooperatives are paying taxes, but it is there. Custom duty on polished diamond and gemstones have been reduced to 5%. It will benefit Kalyan Jewelers and Titan. Titan is a major player in this segment. After the two diamond kings, they ran off, and many people thought there are a lot of duplicate diamonds which they have supplied. Titan has taken a big market share because trust is very important. So in that segment, Titan will play a very big role. And there has been a reduction of customs duty on cocoa bean from 30% to 15%, which will benefit Nestle and Britannia. They are in that segment. So there it will benefit them more. So and other schemes, the highway schemes and other thing. Asian Paint is one company which benefits from the infrastructure spending. So the ECLGS scheme, which has been extended, it benefits even small hotel companies. Now, below certain mark, they benefit. So Taj, DVK, Oriental Hotel, Royal Orchid, a few hotels which will benefit from them. So, because it has been extended to hospitality sector also. So government now wants chemical free, organic thing, and um, they are saying it will be an international year of millets. So previously, what happened is they were concentrating on ethanol. Now, so sugar companies have benefited from the ethanol story. Almost 7% in petrol we make ethanol now. So it is going to be enhanced. And if you see all the sugar company profitability, it comes from the ethanol story, not from the sugar story. So now you take any balance sheet, sugar is less profitable. For EBITDA, they contribute less than 7 or 8% of their total sales. But when it comes to ethanol, they are 33 to 40% contribution to EBITDA. That is the way they are profitable. So you take Balrampur Chini or Triveni, you take other companies, even KPR Mills as a distillery. So everywhere, whoever is having a distillery, that is something which is turned around, and that is where sugar companies are benefiting. Now, government attention has changed to millet. What is that new we will get? We need to wait and see what will happen. But government focus on agriculture has been continuing, and even Kisan drone is something they have said, which will improve farming. And yesterday, the textile minister has said, they will try to focus on cotton. So few varieties of cotton will be allowed to be imported, and few things in cotton, the acreage they will improve, and they will brand our cotton also, which will give a international thing. And they said countries like Canada, UK and USA, they are going to free trade agreement FTA will be renewed and the new agreement will be put, is what the minister has given a statement. So if that happens, it is going to be very positive for agriculture and even for textile companies as such. Today, few textile companies were rallying on that news. Healthcare, during COVID, they have got a very good benefit, but suppose that this is one sector which is not done very good. But hospitals as a sector, now due to higher healthcare insurance, I think hospitals is something which will do very good. Now we like Max Health, we like KIMS, Krishna Institute of Medical Science, which is based out of Telangana and Andhra. So these are two. Apollo Hospital, we have been positive for a very long time, but valuation is too expensive at current level. So in hospitals we like to. When it comes to pharma, I think Sun Pharma, Gland, and few other companies are likely to benefit. And the PLI scheme has been a game changer. And these don't come in the budget. Away from the budget, they have given a lot of PLI schemes, production linked incentive. This PLI scheme is something where it has changed the way India is. Now I will give you one data. Previously, we were net importer of mobile phones, but in the last 6 months, we have become net exporter of mobile phones. So that is the game-changing thing which has happened. So whenever they feel the scheme is not working, there is a change which has happened, and again the scheme comes in a new way. With that, the things are over. So now I will take few queries. So if you have any queries, you can raise your hand and I will unmute you so that you can ask your queries. Okay, I don't feel there is any queries, but now before I can complete, now I would like to say the budget being very good, that is positive side. Now crude at $90 and gas price increasing, that is a huge risk for India because we are importer of both these things, and rising interest rate. Fed has been rising interest rate, and that is also likely to be negative. I think we have one query. So Sanjay sir, you can unmute and you can ask your query.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Yeah.
Actually, I want to have your comments on NMDC. What is the future of NMDC at the current price?
Okay. See, NMDC, we need to understand mining companies have a margin of 50%. No, and whatever dividend they have declared the result yesterday, and they have declared a dividend of 5 rupees and 70 paisa, if I'm right. And the total dividend for this financial year, FY22, is going to be 14 rupees. That works to 9%. So no,
Okay.
it is one dividend deal stock, that is a separate thing. But we need to understand they have a steel plant which is not functional. No, they are in the process of completing it. Maybe it will be getting completed in 1 or 2 months. So after the completion, they will demerge. So NMDC will have a mining company and a steel company. When they demerge, your valuation will be very good because they have to sell, or it will be a separate entity. And NMDC is not a very big player in steel. It is better for them to sell. So that will create another big value for the investors who are holding NMDC, other than the dividend deal. And this business is like because of the steel business only, NMDC has not performed because there was a cost overrun, and it has taken very long time for them to complete the project, which will be completed in next 2 months. So that is the only drawback. The stock has not performed. But once the steel is demerged, the stock is going to do very good.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Swapna, yes, madam, you can ask your query.
Yeah, good afternoon. I wanted your view on Hindustan Copper, and secondly, what is happening to the insurance stocks? HDFC Life and ICICI Lombard and everything is going down. And the third is Radico Khaitan.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you, madam. The Hindustan Copper, we need to, there is a website, even in NSE or BSE or screener.in, you can go and see. If you see the 10-year results, every year results, P&L, Hindustan Copper has hardly made profit. So that is a drawback. See, there is no NMDC or SAIL. NMDC has been consistently making profit. Now, many companies, even in bad time, they were making profit. But Hindu Copper doesn't make profit. That is where I'm worried about. I like companies where they are very consistent in their profitability, because metal is one where you have a good cycle and you have a bad cycle. In good cycle also, if you are not able to make profit, then I'm not too keen on that. When it comes to life insurance, last 2 years, we have gone through a painful, stressful period of COVID. Now, due to COVID, the claims in life insurance, even medical insurance, has been very high, and that has impacted all the life insurance. But we need to understand, the number of life insurance holders have increased, and if we compare the total GDP to life insurance, we are just at 3%. But other comparable countries, I'm saying comparable countries, we cannot compare with China because they don't have an insurance policy, because government takes care of everyone, and in US it is different. So other comparable countries, it is 6% of their GDP, and even GDP today, we are about $2.9 trillion economy. I feel it will go to $5 trillion in next few years and $10 trillion in next 10 years. In that time frame, it is going to be double, triple of this. there is a short-term pressure, but long-term, I'm very positive on life insurance private segment also, because they are growing at 15% CAGR. Last 2 years have been bad because of the claims which has happened in the life insurance segment. And Radico Ketan, we need to understand, the way the stock moved in the last 4 or 5 months. Your correction is needed, because there are better companies where they are at a better valuation. So Radico Ketan at one point of time, the speculative nature was very high, so that is a correction. Once it comes to 700, 750, then I think there it looks attractive.
Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think there are no more queries. So, oh yeah. Yes, madam, you can unmute and you can ask.
Good afternoon, all. Sir, I want to know about Arati drugs. I have taken it around 700 something. So now it is at 500. So what should I do?
See, this stock, when the COVID came, it was one of the beneficiary of COVID, and it did very well. But after that, they have started the expansion plan, everything. So I touched upon chemical companies. So it is also a company which is expanding. Even you take APLL, it has not performed, but these companies are expanding. So I don't think there is a problem. But now another 6 months to 1 year, pharma will be painful. India is not getting the pricing in US. Most of the Indian companies are not able to get the pricing in US because there are too many people supplying in US. So only Sun Pharma, which has a unique portfolio, Gland, these companies don't have any hit in US, but other companies are facing pricing pressure. But for a long-term investor, I don't think there is an issue. So Mr. Kumar is there. Yes, sir, you can unmute yourself and ask. Mr. Kumar Patnaik. I don't know where they are. Mr. Patnaik, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your query, sir. Okay, I think no, he is not able to hear. Okay, that is it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the patient listening. And our videos will be available, whatever, if you want to see the presentation or if you want to see these videos are there in our YouTube channel. So IDBI Capital, you can get the video there. And our client, anyway, these videos have been mailed before itself. So you can look at that. Thank you so much. Have a great day.